Hello everyone, Jai Gurudev. I welcome you all for today's wonderful session on Jyotish behind the story of Samudra Manthan, exploring the deepest secrets which are mentioned in the Puranas, as well as the relevance and significance of the Kumbh Mela, which is going to happen this time after 144 years. So, let's start with today's session, Churning of Destiny. So, we'll begin by remembering our beloved Gurudev. So, please close your eyes and chant with me. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, first we will see the story of Samudra Manthan. So, this story is recorded in 6 texts, and of which one is Mahabharata, and we have 5 different Puranas, and all of them has mentioned this story in different places. And this story is not entirely present in one Purana itself. It is like one of the parts is there in Vishnu Puran, and then next part you will find in Bhagavatam, the next part you will find in Padma Puran, and it is scattered. But today we are going to see a combined picture by combining all the different scattered parts together. So let's begin with the story. So the story of Samudra Manthan starts with the time when, all 3 worlds, the Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Svarloka, where the Devatas reside, all 3 lokas were in control of Devatas, and Indradev is king of all 3 lokas, and everything was perfect in order, and that perfection was because of highest sattva which was present, because everyone was doing sadhana, tapasya, the chantings, and everyone was increasing the sattva altogether, and that was maintaining everything in a perfect system and order. And Indradev was the king at that time, and he had a little arrogance that, oh, because of me, everything is perfect in place. So, what happened one fine day? A great saint, Rishi Durvasa, came to greet Indra, and he was having a garland in his hand. That garland was a very, special garland having all sorts of fragrances, and it was specially made for Devraj Indra. So when he saw Indra, he was riding on the Airavata, and Rishi Durvasa was really elated, and he loved Indra so much that, oh, you take this garland. That garland was already gifted to Maharishi Durvasa, and then he gifted it to Indra that this is a very special garland, I am giving it to you. And when Indradev received that garland, he was not paying attention to Maharishi Durvasa, he was ignoring him, and he received that garland and gave it to his elephant on which he was riding. The elephant then just holded it and crushed that garland with his legs, which led to the anger and furiousness of Maharishi Durvasa, and he cursed Indra that you are so arrogant, you are so ignorant that you even ignored the Rishi in front of you. You have a duty to receive any big saint or Rishi when he comes at your door. You were already riding there, and then you disrespected the gift which I gave you. So he cursed Indra that the entire 3 lokas which you are ruling, they will be deprived of Shri, they will be deprived of wealth, and there will be no wealth in all 3 lokas. And the Shri was lost from all 3 lokas. And suddenly, everything which was in order, it became a chaotic environment, and there was no sattva at all. The tamas and rajas took over. No one was now doing any kind of chanting, no tapasya, no kind of sattvic activities. and that lead to reduction in the power of devatas. And because they lost sattva, they lost the tejas, they were all striving hard to somehow maintain themselves. Meanwhile, in that time, because asuras saw this as an opportunity, when your enemy is weak, that is the best time to attack an enemy. Countries attack other country when that country is having a collapsing economic time. No one attacks a country in its flourishing times. Only when the economy is collapsing, at that time that country receives an attack. So the entire Asuras attacked the Devloka, and they then invaded the Devloka, and finally Devatas were deprived of their own home, their own residence, and they were wandering in the three worlds to reside somewhere. And then they went to Brahmadev to ask for help. And finally Brahmadev went to Vishnudev because he is the sustainer who maintains the entire world. So Vishnudev was asked about the solution of this particular problem, and he smiled and replied that, see, your ego has actually destroyed everything. Now you have to leave this ego, and to get all the wealth back which was there, you have to churn the ocean. The Kshir Sagar which is there, you have to churn the ocean. And that churning cannot be done by your own efforts alone. You need the support of asuras also to churn this ocean. No one can churn this entire ocean alone by its own effort. So you go and negotiate with asuras that, when we will churn, finally Amrit will come and we'll share this Amrit. Amrit means nectar, nectar of immortality. So that is the finest product of the Samudra Manthan which is going to come, and we'll be sharing this half and half equally, so that now we are both immortal and we are not fighting together. Agreed to Devatas, and then they all went, but how we can churn this big ocean? It is really impossible to churn this ocean. What all axle and rope you will find to churn this ocean? So Mahavishnu told that you take Sumeru Parvat, Mahameru Parvat, and that Mahameru will be your axle on which you will tie the Vasuki Nag as a rope, and with that you will churn this ocean one by one, and that churning will create the wealth again. And for that, before churning, just put all the raw materials, all the herbs, metals, everything which is representative of wealth, you just throw inside the ocean. And then when you churn, finally there will become some product and come to you from the ocean itself. So Devatas and Asuras both went to take Mahameru Parvat for churning the ocean, but that that Parvat, that mountain was so heavy that no one could lift it at one go. Even Devatas and Asuras tried, no one was able to carry that mountain with them. So what happened? Finally everyone called Mahavishnu, and he came, he lifted the Mahameru and put it in the ocean. When they were about to begin, they saw that this mountain is not steady. It is not steady and it is shaking. And in that shaking state, you cannot churn anything. To stabilize that mountain, Mahavishnu takes the second avatar, the Kachap avatar, that means the form of a turtle. So he took the form of a kurma and he stabilized that entire Meru on his back. A turtle has the biggest back and the strongest back on which he holded the entire Mahameru. And when they were churning, it was again shaking from top side. Now the bottom was stabilized. So he sat on the top of the mountain in the form of Sahasra Padma, and he stabilized the entire mountain where the churning was happening. And finally they started churning this ocean, which led to different wells coming out. Even the poison came and the nectar came. Mahalakshmi came from this churning. So we'll see what all things came from this ocean and what is the biggest secret behind it, which rishis are trying to say from the Puranas. So now let's begin the Jyotish behind the story. Okay. So first story, the first part of the story, when Rishi Durvasa came with his garland which he offered to Indra, and Indra Dev disrespected that garland and he got the curse from Maharishi Durvasa. In that story, what is the main catch here? So Rishi Durvasa cursed Indra that Triloka will be deprived of Shri. And what is Shri? Shri is fifth house. That is the punya karmas which you have collected with your mantras, with dan, with tapas, everything, with donations for good cause, by helping others. All the good things, good karmas which you have collected so far is stored in fifth house. And that is the real wealth which protects you from all bad times, which heals your body, sustains your life, and fulfills your desire. So the fifth house, which is the actual Shri, gets depleted when you do three things, three mistakes. So what three mistakes Indradev did? So what all houses destroyed the fifth house? That is 6th, 8th and 12th from it. So fourth house being 12th from fifth house means too much attention to comfort. 10th house, which is 6th from the fifth house, means the status you have gained and you get the ego of that status. And 12th house, which is 8th from 5th, means seeking the temporary pleasures. So when you put too much attention to your comfort zone, you get the ego of your status which you have gained by your efforts. When you seek temporary pleasures, you destroy the fifth house, that is Sri Sthana. Fifth house is also the mantra sthana. And who gives the mantras? Who gave the mantras? Rishis gave the mantras. And that's why when we do one of these three things, we destroy fifth house. So what all houses sustain the fifth house or the actual Shri in our life? So the second house from that and fourth house from that will be helping in sustenance of fifth house. So it becomes sixth and the eighth house, and sixth house represents seva and eighth represents sadhana. So when you do not practice sadhana and seva, you destroy your Shri, as Indradev destroyed the Shri of three lokas because of not putting attention on right thing. So that's why it is very important to do sadhana and seva to sustain the fifth house. This is what rishis are trying to say with this part of the story. Now, next thing which is to be noted here is Devatas lost two things, that is Tejas and Sattva. It is clearly mentioned. I have even given the shloka on the Purana as a reference. If anyone wants to check, they can see with this reference. So Devatas lost two things, Tejas and the Sattva. So that means these two things are very important for giving a positive attitude in our life, because Devatas represents the positive energy in us. So when we are doing all the activities which increase the sattva, we are increasing the good energies in our life. So that means to increase sattva, all the activities which sustain the sattva is very important. And what is the highest peak of sattva? That is the state of going beyond the three gunas. And when you transcend the three gunas, you reach the state where you are beyond the sattva, also you are beyond all three gunas, and that is called Amrit, which came from this Samudra Manthan. So the real Amrit which one gets is by transcending all the three gunas. That is where the immortal self lies, and that's what rishis are trying to say that this Amrita is represented by 11th house. If you do the derivation of this word, it will come to 11 as a total which represents 11th house where the Amrit is going to collect, and that's why 11th house or the 11th Rashi, that is Aquarius zodiac sign, is shown as a pot of water or a pot of Amrit which is handed by a man, by a person who is holding this pot. And this is a very important part. We'll explore it further and see what all things are hidden behind this part. Now, you know, planets are the one who are helping us to get rid of our karmas. So when we are in this bhuloka, how do a soul comes to this bhuloka? So the soul drop, like devatas were told, asuras were told to drop all the materials which are there in Samudra Manthan into the ocean. So that's how the souls do. They drop their entire karma baggage in the ocean of the consciousness where they are going to take a form, and then that karmas are gained by the grahas, and that's why we have the term graha. Graha means to gain or to accept. So grahas gain those karmas, and now they are churning this ocean for us, the ocean of our consciousness, and they are giving these karmas in the form of different times to us. So we have good times, challenging times, bad times, times when huge wealth come, time when challenges come. All these things comes turn by turn, and the grahas are churning this ocean of consciousness, constantly giving rise to different things. And they are churning our own karmas and helping us to get rid of our own karmas. So how will you categorize planets as the divine energies or the asuri energies, the demonic energies? So, who will represent devatas? So, everything is in the five elements, and the elements which represent devatas are Agni and Akash. Now, you will say, why Agni is representing devatas? So we get the reference from Vishnu Puran itself. Devatas put an Agni Dev in front of Brahma to ask for help. When Devatas want to represent themselves, Agni Dev represents the Devatas. And that's why the word for Agni as a representative is very beautiful. It is Hotashana. Hotashana means one who receives the Havi for Devatas. So that's why, when we are doing the yagyas, the fire rituals, when they are done, Agni Dev takes all the Havi which you are giving for the Devatas, and they present that Havi for Devatas. Agni is the communicator of Devatas, is the representative of Devatas, and that's why Agni will represent Devata. So the grahas which have Agni and Akash will represent Devatas, whereas Prithvi, Jal and Vayu, those grahas which are linked with these elements will represent Asuras. Now you will say, why is it happening like this? Why Akash and Agni represents Devatas, and why these three elements represent Asuras? This is because Prithvi, Jal and Vayu has a tendency to transcend down. Jala and Prithvi always follows the gravitational path, and that's why Jala will always flow in a gradient, from higher gradient to lower gradient. Prithvi will always follow the gravitational force. But Vayu has a dual nature. Vayu can come down as well as go up, but a tendency to go down definitely is present. That's why all these three elements represent asuras, whereas Agni as an element always rises up. When you light a candle and turn the candle upside down, Agni always rises. This is the nature of Agni. and that's why Agni represents Devata. So Agni helps us to take us to the higher lokas because of its Urdhva Disha, and Prithvi Jala takes to the slower lokas or holds us to this loka, and that's why we say Agni represents Devatas, and that's why Agni is called Hutashan, one who gains the Havi for Devatas. So, with this, we have Sura group and the Asura group, and Sura group or the divine group, we are having Sun, which is the source of Agni, Mars, which is again having the Agni as heat, Ketu, which is the source of Prithvi, but which is having Agni as a tremendous, fire or heat, which is burning everything. And then we have Jupiter as the representative of Akasha Tattva, and which has Agni in the form of pure light. The Agni in Guru is the Agni of pure light, whereas in Sun, Mars, and Ketu, the Agni is present in the form of light and heat. And in Asura group, we'll be having Buddha, which represents Prithvi Tattva, Shukra, which represents Jala Tattva, and Shani Rahu, which represents Vayu Tattva. And they are constantly churning the Chandra. Chandra is the mind which is somewhere pulled by the Devatas or Asuras turn by turn, and by this the entire karmas are manifesting. So when the devatas pull us, at that time we are, ordered in our life. We follow a system, we are active, energetic, and we just want to give the energy to the world. Whereas when asuras pull us, it is the time when we feel a setback, or we are mostly in a tendency to take from the world and not in tendency to give to the world. And this pull and push is constantly happening, and that's where the churning of the karmas is going on. Someday we'll definitely see these anti pairs. So for the karmas of Buddha, we have Guru as the positive energy. When Venus is represent, and now this is not on the material plane, this is on the spiritual plane. So on spiritual plane, Venus is an asura, and to balance the Shukra, we have Surya as the Devata or the divine energy. Mars balances Saturn and Rahu balances Ketu. So this all the four planets are in balance, and somewhere one is pulling us to this side, one is pulling us to that side. That's how the variations are happening in the time. So now let's see what all things came during this month and during this journey, and we'll see the secret behind everything. So first thing which came was Kamadhenu, and it was given to Devatas. And second thing which came was Varuni, which was given to Asuras. Varuni means wine, or that which intoxicates a person. All sorts of intoxicants are represented by Varuni. Then uh, third from this manthan came Kalpa Vriksha, which was given to Devatas, and then Apsaras came, which were equally divided amongst the Devatas and Asuras. There were 600 million Apsaras which appeared from this churning, and they were equally given to Asuras and Devatas. They had both the sides. Now, after that, we have Chandra, which came from this churning, and this Chandra was asked by Shankar. Now, this is a very confusing point if one is reading for the first time, or this is a very interesting point that Shankar asked the Chandra, asked for this Chandra, that I will take this Chandra. So how it is written in Purana that Shankar asked for Chandra, and when Shankar put it that Chandra on the left side of the head, Shankara became Mahadev. That's why Mahadev is the form of Shiva which represents Chandra. And after that, sixth from this churning came Kalakut or Halahala poison, that wish which was coming, that was the most toxic poison which can ever come. And it was destroying everything, destroying everyone, and nobody could survive at that time. So Mahadev came and drank that poison voluntarily for saving the entire world. And when Mahadev accepted and drank that poison, the throat became violet or purple, and that's why he was called Neelakantha. And from Mahadev, from the throat of Shiva, the serpents also took some poison on them. And that's why we always have serpent over the Shivalinga. So on all the Shivalingas, we have a serpent over it, which is actually representing like a shed to the Shivalinga, but actually serpents are very near to Shiva, and they even drank the poison of Shiva, and that's why we always worship Nagas along with the Shivalinga. And after that, finally, for which this entire process was going on, that Amrit Kalash came, that pot of nectar. And who was holding this pot of nectar? Lord Dhanvantari, the father of Ayurveda, the giver of Ayurveda. He was holding the Amrit Kalash, and he came in a white dress. And after that, Sri Devi came. The world, entire Triloka was deprived of all kind of wealth. And finally Sri Devi appeared. Mahalakshmi appeared from this churning, and she married to Vishnu again in the Vaikuntha Loka. Now, this story has a catch here. You know, Other things also came, but they are not mentioned sequentially. So, these nine things are mentioned in a sequence in Padma Purana, whereas the other things which I have written here, there are total 14 things which appeared from the churning of ocean, of which nine things are given in a sequence. For rest of the five things, we do not have a sequence. That's why they are written here separately. So, Airavata, the divine elephant, came, which is the main vehicle of Devraj Indra, was given to Devatas, and Uchchaishrava, the horse with seven heads, appeared, who was given to Asuras. And then three things which appeared again was Shankha, or the conch, Kaustubh Mani, a special kind of gemstone, and Sharang, the divine bow, which was given to Mahavishnu. And now let's come to this part of the story, that why Shankar asked for Chandra. So first Shankar takes Chandra and become Mahadev, and then Mahadev comes and voluntarily drinks the poison. What is the indication by rishis in this story? So Shankara means that which does Shankaroti iti Shankara. So when Shankara is taking the Chandra, Chandra means the purest and cleanest state of mind. When mind is very clean, it is uh, like an ornament on the Shiva. So, with a clean mind, you can handle the poison of life. With a clean and clear mind, you can handle all the challenges of life. That's why Shankar takes Chandra first and then comes to drink the halahal, because halahal is very heating. Halahala is having very heating energy. Okay, there is a tremendous heat, and to cool down that heat, one has to have a very pure and clean state of mind. Otherwise, how can you handle the poison? That's why cleaning of mind is very important, and that is why doing sadhana is also very important, to clean the mind daily. Otherwise, you cannot handle the kalkut or halahal which is coming in life. Okay. Now let's explore turn by turn what is the meaning of each nidhi, each thing which came here in Samudra Manthan. So First, Kamadhenu. Sanskrit, is a very beautiful language where everything is coded so beautifully. Even each and every letter, each and every word has lot of information behind it. And the method by which we trace down this information in Jyotish is called Katapayadi method. So today I'm showing this derivation of each and every word and the information about uh, this particular thing is hidden in the word itself. So let's see what all things are represented by Kamadhenu. So we have four letters Ka, Ma, Dha, Na. We do not take swaras in this derivation. So Ka is representing first house, Ma means fifth house, Dha means ninth house, and Na means zero. And we get a total of 15, which we have to reduce in the uh, by dividing it by 12 or by reducing the 12. So we get the 3 as a derived remainder for this entire derivation. So the word Kamadhenu represents the energy of third house, but it has 159 inbuilt in it. That means the first house, fifth house, and ninth house, which are the Trikona sthan of life, is represented by Kamadhenu. And you know, all the cows, why do we worship cows in Hinduism? Because cows represent the energy of Kamadhenu. All the cows are a photocopy of Kamadhenu. So Kamadhenu represents the punya karmas which you have done so far, and when all the punyas manifest, you get manifestation of all your desires. The third house is the point where the desires arise in our life, and with the help of the fifth and ninth house, it gets fulfilled in our life. So when Kamadhenu is coming in our life, that means there is a state when all the wishes get fulfilled easily. And how they are fulfilled? Do you need to put an effort? No, they are fulfilled effortlessly. It is like a desire is coming and effortlessly it is getting fulfilled. And that's what is represented by Kamadhenu. Since all the cows are a copy of Kamadhenu, that's why we worship cows in India, and from the ancient time itself, the cows are given so much importance because they represent the trine energy. So by worshipping the cows, you make the trine strong. The bhagya becomes very strong. This is what is indicated by the rishis by this story. Now let's come to other two things which came, the Kalpa Vriksha, which was given to Devatas, and Varuni, which was given to Asuras. So if you will do the derivation, you will get 11 as the total. So both represents 11th house. But why one went to Asuras and one went to Devatas? What is the difference? Where the difference is coming? The Kalpa Vriksha, the word is starting from first house, whereas Varuni, the word starts from fourth house. Now, 11th house is actually the gains in your life. When you gain everything, it is because of the 11th house. And that gain or income which is coming in your life is from a pure source or from a corrupted impure source makes the change. So when you get a good money flowing in your life, when you have got that money for which you have put it true efforts, and you have been very honest and pure in your workplace, and you have not done any kind of corruption, that pure money which comes in our life, it sustains our life, and it sustains three things. That is, first house, it gives you viveka and the intelligence. Fourth house, that money is converted into assets of your life. And fifth house, that money nurtures and nourishes your children. So when this money is not pure, it is corrupted, and it is coming from all the malefic means. That malefic money is destructive, and that destroys three things. So that money which is not coming from a pure source, it will take you to intoxication. All the people who usually do corruption are always indulging themselves in intoxication, alcohol, all sort of negative pleasures. And why it is happening? Because this word is starting from fourth house, and fourth house is comfort. So when one is starting from first house, that means the Vivek and Dharma, that no, the source of money should be pure. I am having that pure Vivek. I am having that, Buddhi working well, that I will do well, I'll be skillful and earn all the money on the basis of my skills. Whereas when one is focusing on fourth house, that I only want assets and comforts in my life, and for that comfort, it doesn't matter. I can do anything to earn that money. I can even do all the negative things and do all sorts of corruption. That money which comes because of the driving factor of comforts and pleasures in one's life, that leads to destruction. So it can take one to intoxication, it can destroy the savings in family, it can destroy the children, and it can destroy the happiness at the end. And that's why we say that keep the source of money pure, and always keep a income which is coming from good sources. That's why when the businesses are started, even in the small scale business in front of the factory or the shops, Shubha Labh is written. So Shubha Labh means that gain which is pure, which is benevolent for everyone. Now again, if we see Uchchai Shrava and Airavata, both, if you do the Katapadi derivation of both the words, you will get the energy of 12th house in both. And even the base numbers are also same. So where is the difference coming in this particular thing? Now just see here that Uchchai is a horse, which is anyway very swift, very sturdy, and it is having seven heads. Whereas Airavata is an elephant, which is very calm, which is, walking very slowly, and which is having seven trunks. So one has seven heads, one has seven trunks. So one head with seven trunks means more skills which one acquires. So Airavata represents the energy of more skills which one can get, more intelligence and skills in one's life. Whereas Uchcheshava is like one body and seven heads. So there is a constant conflict that whose direction one should choose. And that conflict and increased ego always starts with sixth house. That means fights, arguments, and quarrels. So with the increased ego and increased uh, greed, everything, when one starts by this particular drive, when one fights with everyone, when one it ultimately leads to the negative manifestation. 12th house is the highest bondage and highest liberation. 12th house can liberate the ahankar and make the soul free, whereas 12th house can bind the soul and put it to the jail. That's why 12th represents jail and 12th represents freedom, both the things at the same time. So, how you are leading your life, this is very important. So, if you are having a very big ego and you are having conflict with everyone, and also one is having a lot of internal conflicts, it will lead to bondage. Whereas if one is skillful and have patience and sanyama in one's life, Airavata represents the highest sanyama, and that sanyama starts from second house. That means the uh, you can say second house, which is even the words which we are speaking, which is the speech which we are uh, you know sh- showing to the entire world, and all food which we gain. When we have a self control on sanyama in everything, that sustains our family, that sustains our savings. And that self control gives a lot of skills that manifest in the form of seven trunks. So much freedom. And that skills brings assets and happiness to one's life. And in the end, it ends the sixth house. That means all sorts of conflict. And it ultimately leads to freedom. And that's why having self control and sanyama is very important to have freedom. This is what is represented by this word and this particular story. And see how beautifully they are aligned that Uchchaishava is going to Asuras and Airavata going to Devatas. Kalpavriksha is going to Devatas, whereas Varuni is going to Asuras. How beautiful it is, how beautifully it is combined. And then the word apsara, which have the energy of third house in total, it represents the general desires which come in our life. It can be positive, it can be negative also, but generally a lot of desires which keep coming, they are represented by apsaras, and that's why many apsaras came from this churning of ocean. So these are six important things which came, and now let's come to two important things which are very important. That is hala hala and kalakuta. So hala hala, if you do the derivation of this word, it represents eighth house and third house. In total, 10th house. Whereas Kalakut, if you do the derivation, it represents sixth house. And the Amrit which came from this churning, if you do its derivation, it is represented by 11th house. So when do uh, when we will experience the Kalkut in our life and when we will experience the Amrit in our life, how we can differentiate both the times. So we need the Karaka for seeing the transits when the Kalkut or Hala Hala, that poison will be manifested in life, and we need a significator which will represent the Amrit which is going to come in our life. So Saturn is the significator of Hala Hala, and Jupiter is the significator of Amrit, as Amrit is the highest Sattva. That's why the planet with highest Sattva will become the Karaka for Amrit. So if you see in material aspect, when we have put it all the houses together, we will see that first, sixth, and the eighth house are the major points when Saturn transits the hala hala can be experienced in material life. That means environment is not supporting and situations are turning negative. But from which reference you will see this transit? Not from Lagna, from Chandra, because this churning is going on in the Chandra, not in the Lagna. And that's why we see the transit with respect to Chandra. So when Saturn is passing from first, sixth, and eighth house, this represents the time of hala hala in the in the material world. Whereas if you want to see spiritual aspect, then reverse the Maya. So entire houses which you have got from the derivation of these words, reverse them, you will see the spiritual dimension. So again, you will find that second, fourth, and 12th from Chandra are the houses when this hala hala will be experienced on spiritual plane. And can you see a pattern in this? If we see the first house, second house, and 12th house from moon, this represents the time of Sadhe Sati, when Saturn transits from these points. Whereas when Saturn transits from fourth and eighth from Chandra, it represents Dhaya. And that's why, in Jyotish, we say that, oh, Sadhisati is generally is a difficult time because this is the time when Hala Hala is going to manifest. The one can, see a lot of mentally challenging things and all the things which leads to mental and emotional disturbances in one's life. But is it really the material plane or spiritual plane? It is more on the spiritual plane than the material plane. That's why you cannot blame everything on Sadhisati, because it is more at the level of perception than the uh, at the level of happening around you. That's why when Sadhisati is going on, this is the time when one can turn itself into the spiritual direction, which will ultimately lead to the blessings of Shanidev, and one can be free from all the effects of halahala. Otherwise, when Saturn's transit will be there from these points, some or the other challenges in terms of perception will be there, not majorly in terms of happening around us. So, how to be free from this hala hala? So, la and ha, these are the two energies of this world. Ha means Akash and la means Prithvi. So, it's like Akash is consolidating in Prithvi, and when this is happening, this is a painful process. This is when, a lot of things. Where is Akash in our body? It is in the Vishuddhi Chakra, the main Akash Sthan. And when Prithvi is coming here, that means a lot of complaints, grudges, grief, which is choking the throat. This is the real hala hala when experience when a person experiences. So in those times when there is a choking sensation that, oh my God, where the hell I'm here, what all things are happening around me. So that is the real halahal which one experiences. How can you reverse this halahal? So replace the la from ra, because ra is Agni, which rises up and makes you free. So hala can be replaced by hara. And who drinks the poison? From the story we have seen, Mahadev drinks the poison. That's why we say Hara Hara Mahadev. So now you know what does this mean. So Hara Hara Mahadev means, oh Shiva, come and drink this poison for me. Make me out of this halahal. And that's why, in all difficult times, chanting the name of Shiva is the best remedy. More you chant the Shaiva mantras or mantras of Shiva, you will get a clear perception and will definitely come out of the effects of all the negative transits which give rise to the halahal in one's life. That's why Gurudev also says the best remedy for all bad times is chanting the name of Shiva. And now let's come to the final point of Amrit, the nectar of immortality which is experienced in our life. So, Amrit is highest sattva, that means all sattvic grahas will signify the chances of coming Amrit from one's life. So, what all sattvic grahas are there? Jupiter, which is a peak of sattva, and moon and sun, which are luminaries, and they are clearly written by it is clearly written by Maharishi Parashar that all these three planets represent sattva. So when Jupiter, who is the karaka for Amrit, will be transiting from any of these three rashis, with any of the three rashis which are having mool trikona of these three grahas, that will give Amrit to entire world. And that's why we have Taurus, Leo, and Sagittarius as the 3 points or the mool trikona of these three grahas when the Amrit is going to come. But wait, we take Aquarius as the significator of Kumbh Mela and not the Sagittarius. Why is it so? Because when Guru transits from Sagittarius, Guru becomes Shiva or Ishan Rudra. So Guru becomes the ultimate protector of the entire world, because Mesha Rashi represents the entire human life and entire human beings. That's why it is head of Kal Purusha. And when Guru transits from the Sagittarius, it takes the form of Shiva, Ishan, who is protecting the world. And when Guru transits over the Aquarius or Kumbh Rashi, Guru becomes Dhanvantari, who is coming with a pot of nectar. That's why Aquarius is shown by a man holding the pot of nectar in his hands. So now you know that when Guru will transit from Aquarius, Leo, or Taurus, this is the time when Amrit will come for the entire world. And that's why all the spiritual people come together to celebrate this coming of Amrit for the entire world. And they come on specific places to celebrate the nectar which is flowing at that time. And that's why we take holy bath, we do a lot of chantings, we involve in the spiritual sadhanas and different spiritual discussions and philosophical discussions which are happening between all the sects. So that's why when Guru is transiting from any of these points, it is celebrated as the time when Amrit is going to come for the entire world. So when Guru comes to Aquarius or Taurus, it is called Purna Kumbha. And where is the biggest Kumbha or the best point for the Amrit to come? It is in Taurus, in the Vrishab Rashi, because Vrishab is the Mool Trikona of Chandra. That means the ocean or mind where this churning is going on. So when Guru comes to Rishabh Rashi, it indicates the Amrit coming for the entire world and for the Amrit which is coming for spiritual upliftment. That's why the highest state is there in Taurus. So once in every 12 years, because Guru transits to one points again after 12 years. In each year, Guru covers one Rashi. So that's why we have a Kumbh Mela coming after every 12 years. And after 12 such cycles, at one particular point, we have a Maha-Kumbh when Guru is coming to same point after 144 years. And that Maha-Kumbh Mela is happening right now in Prayagraj, which started 2 days back. And this is the biggest time. You all should feel really grateful that you all are very lucky you have taken birth in this time when you are going to represent when you are going to witness a Mahakumbh. This is the rarest of rare opportunity which one can get, and everyone who has taken birth during this time is really lucky. And we have a Ardha Kumbh which comes after 6 years of every Kumbh. So that means once in every 3 years we'll be having a Kumbh or a Ardha Kumbh. So right now when Guru is there in Taurus moon sign, Guru after 3 years will come to Simha when it will become Simhastha Kumbh. That's why the term Simhastha Kumbh came, because Guru is transiting from Simha Rashi. And after 3 years of that, Ardha Kumbh will come. And after 3 years, again, when Guru comes to Aquarius, a Purna Kumbh will happen. And that's how once in every 3 years, either we'll be having a Kumbh or Ardha Kumbh. And what are the four places where the Kumbh is celebrated? They are mentioned in the Skanda Puran also. So Haridwar, Prayagraj, Ujjain, and Nashik are the four places where the celebration of this nectar is happening. So when Guru transits in Aquarius, the Haridwar is the place where Kumbh is taking place. When Guru transits in Vrishabha, that means in Taurus, Prayagraj is the place where Kumbh is happening. And when Guru transits in the Simha Rashi, the Simhastha Kumbh happens in Ujjain and Nashik. And that's how the Kumbh Mela is held once in every 3 years. So this time in Prayagraj, we are having Guru's Mahakumbh because Guru is coming to Vrishabh Rashi after 144 years, after completing the 12 cycles. And what all dates we have for the special bath when we take a holy bath during this time? Why people are taking bath in the river, because so many saints are coming and taking bath there, so we have the energy of consciousness of all the saints flowing through that river at this time. So when you take the bath, you also get in touch with that punya energy, with that good karmas and all the energies which the saints have generated. So there are some special tithis during this time when taking bath is considered very auspicious. So first happened with the starting of Kumbh Mela itself, that is on Makar Sankranti, and second holy time for the holy bath will be there on Mauni Amavasya or Magha Amavasya on 29th January. Then we have third Shahi Snan on Vasant Panchami, fourth one on the Magha Purnima, and the last one will be there on Shivaratri. After that, the Kumbh Mela will end. And with this, you know, uh, during this time, if we are doing sadhana, seva, and doing any of the mantras that will have a very positive impact on you and everyone in your family, because this is the time when nectar is going to come. So directly it represents siddhis which everyone is going to have for all the spiritual efforts which everyone is putting. So don't miss this opportunity. Do visit the Prayagraj and do have the holy bath during this time. And next Kumbh Mela will be held in 2027 in Nashik, Maharashtra. Okay, when Guru will come to Simha Rashi after 3 years. And how to attain this Amrit now? How can you get this nectar which is flowing right now? So let's see who gets the Amrit. It is Devatas who have Sattva in them. They receive the Amrit. That means Sattva is the Patrata, or you can say the requirement for having this Amrit. And who gives the Amrit? Guru in the form of Dhanvantari gives the Amrit to entire world. And how you can attain this Amrit? By surrendering fully to Guru as Devatas did. So they surrendered to Mahavishnu that we cannot churn this ocean. That, Mahavishnu only took that Meru and put it there. And Mahavishnu only holded that Meru from both the ends. Mahavishnu was actually pulling and churning that ocean for everyone. None of the side, either Devatas or Asuras, could do by themselves. So Mahavishnu had to come and churn this entire ocean, and that's how everything came out from that ocean. So it is always Guru who is working for everything. It is one principle, it is divine which is actually doing everything. So you cannot get Amrit by your own efforts. You have to surrender to divine. This is the first thing. And next thing is to keep increasing your sattva. When your sattva is high, you receive the patrata to get this Amrit from your end. And that's where the Jyotiṣa ends and the path of Guru starts. So, this was our presentation for the story behind the churning of ocean and the importance and relevance of Kumbh Mela, why we are celebrating Kumbh during these times, how the Muhurta of Kumbh is formed. All these things we have seen today. And the next announcement for everyone is about a new mini module which is going to happen on 25th and 26th Jan on medical astrology, and it is open for everyone. For all beginners, it will be eligible, and uh, it is the first part that we'll be exploring deeply about the elements and their impact on time and our life, and how we can turn these elements positive for our health. All these things we'll definitely see in this course. So those who are interested, who wants to learn this particular thing, who wants to know the secret behind the health or with respect to elements, you can join this mini module. The link will be shared in description of this video, and you will be having a number also of JyotiṣVāstu Academy where you can contact. Okay. We are also having the other courses of the Jyotish Fundamentals program, Vastu Fundamentals programs. Okay, do check our website for all the courses. It is there in the description. So, thank you everyone for being patient listeners to this session. And Abhishek ji, can we have some questions? If anyone is having one or two questions, we can take. One we'll take. Okay. Yeah. South Indian Jyotish model. So you mean to say the South Indian system? Oh, we cannot answer it right now because it is a very big topic in itself. So yeah, can we come to next question, please? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So thank you, everyone. And do check our websites for all the mini modules, all the courses, and if anyone requires any consultation, you can definitely check our website. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.